Hello and welcome to Storytime with Mary. This is where we get to read all of our favourite books. So, what book have we got for you today? Today's book is called Snow White's Lamb. If you've got this book at home, why don't you run along and grab it now so that we can read it together? Okay, shall we get started? Once upon a time, there was a beautiful lamb named Snow White. She lived with her father and stepmother in a palace, but she wasn't very happy. Snow White's stepmother was beautiful, but she wasn't kind. She saw Snow White growing prettier every day, and she became jealous. Stepmother had a magic mirror. Every day she asked it, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the loveliest sheep of all?" The answer was always the same. "You are the most beautiful sheep of all." Then one day the mirror said, "Snow White is prettier than you." Stepmother grew very angry. "Go away!" she screamed at Snow White. The little lamb trotted away into the dark forest all by herself. Snow White walked and walked for hours until she came across a little cottage. She knocked on the door, but there was no one home. So she went inside. The cottage was very pretty, but untidy. When the 7 little owners came home, they found Snow White hard at work. She told them her sad story. "Stay with us," they said. A few days later, the mirror told stepmother that Snow White was living in the forest and that she was still the most beautiful lamb in the whole wide world. Angrily, the wicked sheep picked up a poisoned apple. Stepmother disguised herself as an old woman and hurried off into the forest. She found the cottage and knocked on the door. Snow White was hungry and happily took the juicy apple from her. After just one bite, Snow White fell on the floor. When her little friends came home, they couldn't wake her up. So they made a bed of flowers for her to sleep on. Every day they waited for her to wake up, but she never did. One day, a handsome prince came to the cottage. Snow White looked so lovely. The prince kissed her. His kiss broke the stepmother's evil spell and woke Snow White from her deep sleep. All of her little friends cheered. "Hooray!" "Please marry me, Snow White," begged the prince. "You are the most beautiful lamb I have ever seen." They were soon married and lived happily ever after. Did you enjoy our lovely book, Snow White's Lamb? I know I loved this book. If you did, why don't you subscribe to our YouTube channel where we can read all of our favourite books together every single night. Good night, sweet dreams. Talk to you again. Bye.